Today we're going to be making flowers out of coffee filters. Yes, I'm using two different kind of coffee filters. Well, two different sizes. One's a little bigger than the other. And for every flower, I use 8 coffee filters. I stack them in twos to make it easier to cut. So outside of the coffee filters, you will need food coloring, water, some watercolor paint if you have it, or you can just use food coloring, but I like to use watercolor paint, but you can use food coloring just the same. You also will need just a pair of scissors. I have some decorative scissors that I like to use to give mine some cool edges, and just a place to dry them. I made a little clothesline for myself. So as you can see, I'm folding them 2 by 2. You fold them in half once, fold them in half a second time, and fold them in half a third time. Ultimately, you should end up with 4 sets of 2 for 8 petals total. I'm going to hold up 3 here, but I should have had 4. Now we're going to start cutting out our petals. You can draw this if you need to, but it's just going to be a curve right around the edge. Shape it like you would a flower petal. You do this to all 4, and you can stack it to the side when you're done. A little more complicated of a cut that I like to do. It makes a cooler flower. You cut off both corners like this, and then you go back in the middle and you cut a little slit right down the center, like a V shape, long triangle. You might have to use your fingers to pull it out. And then I do 2 more little V shapes to the right and the left. They don't have to be even at all, but this will give the flower some dimension and shape. Again, repeat until you have 4 of these matching ones with the 3 slits in the top. Just make sure the longest slit is in the center. So you're gonna put those aside. You can see now I'm grabbing my decorative scissors. These have like little squiggly lines and zigzags and different things already there. So I'm gonna kind of do the same thing, cutting off the corners, but just using my decorative scissors to give them a little bit different of a design here. Now that we got all our petals cut, we start making our food color dye. I just take these little plastic cups and take the food color. You just need yellow, blue, and red to make every color basically. You mix it up, add a little bit of water, and stir it until you get the desired colors. Now, I like everything bright, so I decided to make every color: pink, orange, blue, green, yellow. And then I also like to use cheap watercolor paint just to add extra details. You don't need watercolor paint. Again, you can just dip your brush into the food color and water and use it just like paint. Test the color out by just putting it on a paper towel, and when it's the desired color, I know I'm good. If not, add more dye or add more water and keep stirring. So yeah, I'm just testing out all my colors there and getting ready for my favorite part, the dip dyeing. Obviously, this is one of my favorite parts, so I like to start by spraying them with a little spray bottle, just getting them a little moist around the edges. And then I like to take my watercolor paint and go right around just the tip of the flowers. I think this gives them a really natural look. If you want a really natural flower. Sometimes I like natural and sometimes I like really funky ones. That's like the whole point of being able to make them. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to take like a lavender and go right on the edge of all of my petals. And with watercolor and the food color, when you make it moist, it's going to disperse naturally. So you don't really have to do anything. Literally, you can just tap it on the edge and it'll do what it's supposed to do naturally. So when you're done with all 4 of your petals, this is my favorite part, I'm going to dip them into any dye you want. I'm going to go with my pink one because I just want this flower to look a specific way. So you just literally stack them and just dip them in. You can dip them really quick and just pull them out for one look, or you can just let them soak it up. That's what I like for a little bit. Just squeeze out the rest. So look how pretty these look already. these are another favorite, and they're a little different than the other flowers. You have to add a little bit of texture to these by twisting them a little to one direction and just dipping the tip. They come out so pretty at the end. I like to do these like tie-dye flowers, so you twist them really tight and then you just dunk the end really quick, you dunk the other end really quick, and then I go back in with a brush and just add some random color to the middle just to give it a tie-dye effect. But these look so cool when you take them out in the end, so we'll see. And these are all the petals I made tonight. Come back for part 2 and watch me actually make them into flowers.